Hey, every guest that comes on the show, and it's been great to chat with you, they have to complete this sentence. Life is ...
Yep. Life is. Oh, well, I think to answer that one is everything you want it to be. They'll make it everything you want it to be. Yeah. That kind of means, if you've got dreams and goals, just give them a go. Yeah, absolutely. And just make it the best possible life for yourself and make yourself proud and everyone around you.
No one tells you what you're supposed to do.
Courtney Hancock, three-time Ironwoman champion, now regarded as Australia's greatest female ocean athlete. Approaching 30, but there are no signs of slowing down. But it's away from the surf that Courtney's impact as a positive role model is making a huge difference. Her story and the early challenges she faced is inspiring so many she touches. Courts, it's so good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Scotty. I'm excited. It's haven't spoken to too many people over the last 4 weeks, so no, it's great to see your smiling face.
This is a nice way to come out of isolation. How do you feel when that title now gets thrown around, greatest female ocean athlete ever? How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's I think about the kind of the ride in the journey of where I first started, and I guess, I think back, I was like, what was my goals back then? And it was never to be able to have that title. It was more so just, I guess, little goals and and see where it ends up. So I'm kind of still doing the same thing. I'm just kind of really making little goals day by day, and I mean, they come down to the point where I want to get, my fitness and get to this point. So it's kind of been so fast moving, I think, the last 15 years that, when I kind of sit here and think about it, you're like, oh, it's been a pretty cool ride.
I was looking at some vision from one of the interviews that you've done, and you knew what you wanted to do really early, didn't you? You locked in, I think it was 5 or 6. That's amazingly early to really lock in on what your purpose is and what you want to achieve.
It was it. Yeah, you probably summed it up perfectly then. I really locked in, didn't I? I was like I had the tiger's eye straight up. I think I think it was a whole lot of things now that I look back. I think growing up right on the beach, having the ocean and just how good it made me feel, how good I felt going to school from going to the beach every morning. And I think just I love the culture and the lifestyle of everyone who was at the beach. And I mean, I was pretty lucky being in a small little beach town to grow up, but I just wanted to be around those people. And I loved seeing how fit and how determined and just the feeling that I looked and saw these athletes, I guess, how they felt that they had achieved something. And I think at a young age, I probably was making little goals, which kids are doing, I think, every day now, whether it's, you're learning to walk, you're learning to run, ride a bike. So it's crazy when you think back, really from a little age, you were making goals. You just never really knew it at the time.
How does it make you feel? I mean, you're in and out of the water multiple times every day. What does the water mean to you?
I think it's funny because you've got all different types of water, obviously. Like, you have a shower, you go to the swimming pool, you might go for a dip, might be in the lake where you go, canals, you go fishing. But the water that's affected me is the ocean. I don't know, there's something about the whole, you get out of your car or, you just walk down to the sand and, what's it going to be today? Is it going to be flat and glassy? Is it going to be like a cool westerly where I need my wetsuit? Or is it going to be an awesome southerly that brings in swell? And I just love not knowing. Like sometimes I won't even check what the surf's doing. I'll just go down there and I'll be prepared and going to have fun, whatever it is. So, and I think since I've been getting older and the years are going on and more things come into your life and your head gets more crammed and you've got more lists to tick off. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. Then you have lists, gets bigger and bigger, and you feel a little bit crowded. And the ocean will always be that calming place for me. And I always, when I talk to people, I was like, you need that calming place. And it doesn't have to be the ocean. It can be anywhere you find that place. It might be at home. It might be at a park, it might be going running, walking, kicking a footy. And mine's always been the ocean, whether I'm on a sup, whether I'm surfing or whether I'm on one of those big swans. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm out there, I know it will always make me feel better. I've never, ever regretted going for a swim, that's for sure.
One of the things that I really love about you, Court, so you've got a community focus, and particularly a lot of the work and the messaging that you're starting to impart on kids. I mean, you're one of our LifeChanger ambassadors, and we love you for that. That connection with kids, it's interesting because you had your own challenges through high school as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I look back now and I think I probably got out of it pretty easy, I think, because there wasn't Instagram, there wasn't Facebook, it wasn't a constant 24-hour thing every day. I think some kids do get stuck in that area of having whether someone picking on them or they're frightened to go to school because of, certain bullies and people like that who are they don't feel safe where they're going. And that constantly will happen then again on Instagram, because those people who are picking on them can contact them and, not make them feel great about themselves. So, for me, it was probably, just at school, went through, it would have been year 12, which probably all connects the dots now. I became a professional athlete when I was at school in year 12.
Yep.
So yeah, trying to balance all that was hard. I mean, I missed a lot of the parties. I certainly did my best to get there, but it was, I missed schoolies, which is, a massive thing at the end of the year. And I think when you start to miss a few things like that, you slightly become disconnected. But I always feel, looking back, your true friends and the people who are there for you, they don't mind. They understand. They get that, you're living your dream at 17 years old. Not a lot of people get to, start at 17. So I had that really wonderful group of support of girls at school who loved me and who supported me, and they still do today, which is amazing. I get to see them all the time. But so having that, I think, really helped me get through. But yeah, there definitely was a certain few people, and they weren't just, students. There was actually a teacher that, came down pretty hard on me for that year 12, made it difficult for me. And my best way to probably describe it is trying to bring me down, not having belief and confidence. So trying to take that away from me, it was probably, being a 17-year-old, I think, really hard. I mean, if someone tried to do that today, you'd probably just look at them and, see, what are you doing? But at that age, it is really difficult. And I think, as long as you have a really strong network around you, and that can be whether it's your coaches, your family, your friends, if you have that around you, you'll definitely get through it. And realize at the end of the day, most of the time someone who's having a go at you or talking badly about you or trying to pull you down, it's insecurities in themselves. It's got nothing to do with you. So as a young person, you feel it's all about you. But at the end of the day, you've got to turn around and be like, they've got a reason for trying to pull you down. So I think that's probably the best advice I could give for that situation.
It's really interesting. Your experience with a teacher or teachers were very similar to an experience that I had myself.
Oh, really?
So I was in year 12,
wow.
And I remember sitting in a group, 4 or 5 other students with a career counsellor. And I wasn't certain really what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to pursue a career in professional sport or football. So I went around the group, and one person was locked in on wanting to be an engineer and then a tradesperson, et cetera, et cetera. And it got to me, and I said, look, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm pretty certain I want to go down and really have a crack at being, an elite level sports person. And he absolutely pretty much made me laughing stock of that group at the time. Oh. So my reflection on that, I'm grateful that I sort of had a strong network around me right at that time where, it was a little bit like, well, okay, stuff you. I'm going to give it a go anyway. I'm interested, like that's difficult for teenagers in particular around that, 15, 16, 17. There's a voice there that's actually at times telling them they're not good enough. What gave you that belief that you were going to pursue it?
I think, wow, it's crazy that you've had the same situation, because I think, when I shared that story, like some people kind of go, really? And they're really shocked about it, which, when I, hearing that from you now, it's, it's hurtful to hear that happened to you as well, because at that age, you're very vulnerable. And as you said, like, you don't know exactly what you want to do, and that's okay, because life is certainly changing. But I had the same fire inside of me, especially with one of the teachers actually never picked me for any of the sporting teams, which I'm not saying I should have been picked or anything like that, but I did train very hard and gave it my all, and it was always a good sport. And to miss out on that every year was heartbreaking, especially when you're the only one in your friend group that's not making it. And then also one of your teachers saying that, you'll never be nothing. What did he say to me? You'll only ever be a beach bum, which that's kind of how he thought my sport was, just being a beach bum, when we all know it's much more than that. And it just kind of drove the fire. I remember that moment. I said in my head, wait and see what I can do. Yeah. And so I went out and, I think I actually won the series 12 months later after that. So, but it's funny, going off on a different topic, that same teacher that said that to me, a couple of months before it, when I was still at school, that was when I just left school, that conversation happened. Him and his daughter actually got stuck out in a rip, and it was quite a dangerous one. And I just happened to be walking past my board finisher session. Wow. And, I went out there with my sister and saved them. And his daughter was only about 6 years old, and they're in a lot of trouble. So I just found it interesting. The whole situation with that.
The universe always gives you what you need, both you and
Absolutely.
them. That's amazing.
Very true.
That is amazing. Look, lots of challenges. We all go through them at different times. I think your journey through all of that is amazing. It's an amazing journey for younger people to reflect on as well. So it's a really powerful story. Always challenges in the water in many different ways and different shapes. But one of your, I guess, more dangerous incidents occurred, I think it was at Currumbin, on a ski, following out Kane Eckstein, and the wave broke on the front of the board, flipped the board over, and basically, for those that haven't been on a ski, your foot is caught in the straps. Walk us through what happened and what was going through your mind as you're getting held underwater in, really dangerous circumstance.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy afternoon, because there was really good surf. We decided to do a paddle back, so we drove from Northcliffe to Currumbin. It was just a couple of us, and everyday session. Going out there, is fairly big surf. The boys, unfortunately, just a bit quicker than me, got over a massive wave, and I was like, okay, here we go. I've got to give it some. On the ski, never hesitate. If you're going to stop. If you're going to go. So I went, and your feet are, best way I can probably describe you kind of feet, this is my foot, and then you have a strap across like that. So you're kind of like wedged in like this, and then paddling. I went up like this, kind of like the movie The Perfect Storm, up with the boat, up like that, straight up like that, and then shot back down. So like The Perfect Storm, boat, straight back down, tipped over. And then as I went to grab my paddle and to come up for air, I was stuck. So then another massive wave kind of came over top of me. And while this was happening, my foot was kind of bent around like this. So that was kind of, as you can imagine, pulling it.
Was it a broken foot?
I reckon it was probably bruised at the time, because it was just kind of pulling on. I didn't feel anything. Like, I could still move it really well. And then that one went over, and I still couldn't get out. So I guess you're going on 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Another wave went over the top. So that's 2 waves now. So you're probably looking at 20 seconds now. I let a third one go past, and it felt like 2 minutes I was under there, because when you hold your breath, sitting here holding your breath is fine, but when you're under the water and it's washing around and you got your foot there. And so third wave when I was, it was really scary because I hadn't breathed yet, and I thought, okay, this is getting pretty scary. I've got to get air. So I had to get my foot. I couldn't pull it out, so I had to snap it. I snapped it and ripped it out, and I came out, and I was in a lot of pain. So so it was two. There wasn't many things I could do then. I think back and I'm like, could I have done it differently? But at the time, the way my foot was wedged in and it was just completely stuck, and I couldn't get my head up for air. I really needed to get out, otherwise I could have potentially broken my whole leg or ankle and everything. So I just managed to break my foot, and then from then on was out for a little bit of time. Not too long. I actually healed really quickly, but that whole experience, it was really terrifying. It's easy to talk about now, but certainly at the time, not having a breath, with being pinned down for 3 waves was, don't want to relive that one again.
How much was the challenge mental versus physical after, when you're coming back from that?
I was definitely in a bit of shock when I went straight to my physio in my swimmers with a towel wrapped around me, and he looked at my foot and he's like, I think it's broken. And I was kind of like, it's not. Went and got it x-rayed, and I saw the bone straight away. And I guess you've got in that disbelief. But I think I just did all the right things from that moment. I went in the boot. I stayed off it. I did all the right things. I ate really well. I just did those little 1%ers, which I don't even know if it helped, but I just made sure I drank heaps of water, ate really well, went to bed early, did exactly what I was meant to do. And I was back racing 8 weeks later. So I really got myself, it did take a while, I think, to get my running better. I think my running suffered throughout my racing for a little while. I think for probably 2 years, I had to really force my running and push it. But at the moment, my running couldn't be any better. So maybe it was a reason to have a little bit of time off the legs. But it was, and I think those are the challenges. You go up and down like this, and you always come out stronger, always, and your appreciation comes out more so. Yeah.
Are you a better athlete now? You're 29 or 30? Or
a little bit further.
around there. Let's just say around there.
Around there, yeah.
Are you a better athlete now than you were at 2022? And what are the differences? And if you are better, why are you better now?
Yeah, that's an awesome question, because when people watch you as an athlete, I think you're the same athlete the whole way through, but I've probably been all different athletes as one person. When I was first moved to the Gold Coast at 18, I was just a rookie, and I'd do every single session 3 times a day, be absolutely stuffed, but keep going. My breakfast would be, those really thick raisin toast.
Yeah.
The bread, yeah. I'd have probably 4 of those with butter as much as I could. That was my breakfast. And then sometimes dinner was cereal. So, I've obviously not been able to really cook as well at that age. And then, as I progressed, I kind of went, okay, I need to go from kind of coming 5th in the series to I want to win. So then I kind of progressed into, I was like, okay, I need to be eating more fruit and vegetables. So that was, and then I realized I needed to get stronger. So I started doing gym 2 times a week, which I only started doing gym about the age of 22. And then that progressed. And then I kind of then went through probably the peak of my career that I just found racing came really, really well to me. I got used to being up front of the racing, and I got used to kind of leading the races and having that confidence that being out in front is the place I want to be. You can certainly, I think, in racing individually, probably more so, get used to a certain position, whether it's in the pack. And then when you get out front, it can be quite scary. But I took that on, I think, really early. I wanted to be out the front, so I made myself be up the front. And then, I've gone through a stage probably a few years after that where the motivation went down a little bit for probably about 12 months. And I was a little bit like, I couldn't think of what my next goal I really wanted to achieve probably. So I kind of went through 12 months of that, and then came back up again. And and realize, okay, now I want to win the Coolangatta Gold, the endurance race. I've never won that before. And then I'm now at a stage where instead of smashing my body every day, it's recovery. So at the moment for this COVID at the moment, I'm just making the most of being positive and resting my body. I'll go into this season with 10 weeks off. And at first that felt quite daunting, definitely. Yeah. But I've been still just being a fit person, moving my body, surfing every day. If I don't want to run this afternoon, I don't have to run. I can go tomorrow morning. Getting out of that routine has been something I've really forced myself to do at the moment. And and I feel great. I think so throughout that time, that was probably just a rough, what I've kind of been through. But yeah, I've certainly been all types of athletes throughout that time.
Of course, you're such a great role model for the next wave of competitors that are coming through. But when you were coming through, Carla Gilbert, clearly a great friend of both of ours, and she's such an amazing person. But was she that moving target and that role model for you and someone you just looked at aspirationally?
Yeah, I know, I love Carla. Even still today, when we hang out and stuff like that, sometimes I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we're hanging out. And because she's so modest and humble, she's like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, you're like, you're my hero. You still are. So it's a really nice relationship. And I know she feels the same. We just have this really special connection. And it was I had a moment for the Coolangatta Gold where I asked her to handle, and she was a handler for me. And I was like, wow, when I never ever thought. So when you said to me earlier, would you ever think sitting here that, you'd be where you are? Well, there's certain things to me, I'm like, I never thought Carla Gilbert would be handling for me.
It's amazing.
But yes, yeah. And certainly back then she was certainly a shining light, and definitely, even though she never knew it, she guided me through, and I just wanted to be Carla, exactly the same. And she just was, the way she did things to every other Iron woman out there was different. And she was the best. And that's why and the way she spoke to the cameras, and the way she was just such a, incredible role model and humble. And she just did everything without an ego, but at the same time, she was confident in what she was doing. She'd get on the line. She knew she was the best. So I think there's that difference between being confident in yourself and being able to express that you can win, to then having an ego and, holding on to that and letting it spoil you actually racing, which you should really change that into confidence. So, she was my role model. She still is today. And I think as kids growing up, you need to have a role model. And you don't just have to have one. Have all different males, females. Doesn't even have to be if you're in sport. It can be from anywhere. Just, there's plenty of podcasts out there. There's plenty of cool documentaries. And I think it's amazing to have as many role models as you can, just be a sponge to all of them, and you'll be able to learn so much.
You talk about the humility of Carla. Look, Trevor Hendy's my co-founder, as you know, and like a brother to me, and I know Carla really well, and obviously you. And there is a humility that goes through the whole surf life-saving movement that I can't compare it to the AFL or the NBL. There's a different level of humbleness and humility that comes from surf lifesavers and the whole movement. Why is that? Because you're such a joy to be around and such terrific people. It just seems to emanate from the whole industry.
Yeah, I think it's a hard one to answer, because I think there's multiple reasons and different reasons for different people. You say Trev Hendy, he's an angel, isn't he? Just being kind of walking on the earth. And again, I'm so lucky. I mean, he was my other role model. He was my male role model growing up. So funny. I'm probably embarrassed. Hope he doesn't listen to this, but I used to have this big picture of him on the wall. And
I'm going to make sure he gets it now.
Well, I actually wrote a story about him. It's so cute. It's just scribble, but basically Trev got his head bitten off by a polar bear because there was a race between him and I. I've shown him the book before. I was probably about 6 years old. It's hilarious. I kept it because I was like, I've got to show Trev that, and he thought it was hilarious. But I was cleaning up everything as we do. We've got a bit more time at the moment, and I found that poster.
Love it.
I was like, I got his long ponytail and everything like that. And it was just, so funny seeing that. I completely forgot the question now. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Polar bear and everything like that.
Yeah. I've been distracted by the polar bear story too. But look, ultimately, I think a lot of the other sporting codes could learn a lot from the community focus and the values that sit behind surf lifesaving. And I sit here saying that as someone that's probably spent my whole life and involved in the AFL, but I think it's something you should be very proud of. Thank you.
I think, as you said, we do patrol hours. I mean, you can't race without doing 25 patrol hours. That's unless you get on long service when you've been a part of that for 10 years. So, you have to do that to compete. So again, there's the appreciation to be able to race. You do your service to the community, which is a great time. You have a wonderful time patrol. You get to know all the members of your club. So at an AFL club, I mean, it's probably hard for sometimes the athletes to know everyone. But I think for us, it's easier because we're there on patrol with them. So you sit there for 4 to 6 hours on the beach, chatting about their family and everything like that. So there's that part, and I think it's probably being guided by people like Trevor Henry and Carla Gilbert. You've got such great role models from really the beginning. And I also think we work really hard. We do. In our sport, we're doing up to 3 sessions a day, and we're exhausted by it, I have to say.
You were going to use another word then. You were going to use another word.
We'll leave it as exhausted. So I think we work so hard, and I think it's just something, I think in that culture altogether. And I think being in the ocean creates a good, happy vibe. Yeah,
sure does.
Well.
No doubt about that. Hey, our listeners would love to just pick up a couple of tips from you. Let's talk about nutrition. What would be your number one sort of tip if someone needed to put something into their toolkit from a nutrition point of view? What would it be?
My older sister's a dietitian, so she's watching this again. She'll be making sure. The number one tip, I think certainly snacking. I know that's probably not an actual, I can tell you some snacks, but I feel if I know I've got my day, I like to be organized and planned. And I know if I'm going to be out for a few hours, I'll make a smoothie. I'll just put everything in there. I'll put, water, ice, banana, strawberries, honey, just not even protein powder, just all the good, that's my serving of fruit. I love fruit. That's actually probably something, I've got a sweet tooth. So I guess instead of going biscuits, I love my fruit. And then I'll pack some, chicken in a salad and keep it in a cooler. And so if I've got meetings and training, I'm making sure I'm always, I always feel energized, because I feel probably when you're busy, you need that energy, and you want to always feel like, I look at my nutrition sometimes, and every day you want the best out of yourself. So I feel sometimes for me, I don't get the best out of myself when I'm hungry. I feel I don't think straight. You might get a little bit uptight. So I think I have all the snacks all ready to go throughout the whole day if I'm out. And I feel, especially for an athlete, or business owners, that's certainly going to help a lot and get the best out of yourself. Favorite food, that's something I eat every day. Again, bananas probably comes in there. I know that's really simple, but eating simple is probably the way that that I eat really throughout racing. You got your meat, whether it's steak, chicken, maybe chicken schnitzel, and just add it with salad and vegetables. That's when I'm probably in riding training, wanting the best performances. I go pretty basic, and certainly ready for some pizza by Saturday night at the end of the week. What about exercise? People have a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with exercise. Yeah. What's your number one tip on exercise, which you obviously know is so crucial? Yeah, I think you'll never regret doing a session. Yeah. And you'll always feel better, and you'll definitely get the best out of yourself. And I can definitely say that was so easy for me to answer, because at the moment I am on a break. So I don't have to, basically it's the first time in my life I don't have to be anywhere.
Yep.
The only place I really have to be at the moment is make sure I get the bin out on a Friday, Thursday night for Friday morning. That's my, at the moment, that's my kind of one thing that I have to do. So every day, I've slept in a couple of times over the last month, and I don't feel as good. I don't feel as good if I sleep in, I get up and I might not train for the rest of the day. I'll certainly keep myself busy, but if I get up, I'll either go for a sup paddle, I'll either go for a run, I'll either go for the gym, and I actually sometimes even just decide that morning what I want to do, and I always feel better. I'm always happier, always get more done, and everyone who, if you've got a goal at the moment with exercise, just get up and do something. It just makes you feel so good. And put music in your ears. It's such the endorphins, and just having a sweat. It's just, you feel so good.
Three things that I do religiously every morning: move, reflect, and fuel. It's in my diary. Those 3 things locked in for time.
That's
if I do that, I have a great day. If I miss out on any of that, it just never seems to be as good.
Yeah, you feel a little bit. Yeah, I like that. 3. Yep.
Hey, every guest that comes on the show, and it's been great to chat with you, they have to complete this sentence. Life is ...
Life is. Oh, well, I think to answer that one is everything you want it to be. They'll make it everything you want it to be. Yeah. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Life is making everything you want it to be. Yeah, and I think that kind of means, if you've got dreams and goals, just give them a go. Yeah, absolutely. And just make it the best possible life for yourself, and make yourself proud and everyone around you.
You've certainly done that, Courts, and that's such great advice to all of us. Such a joy to have you on the show. You are such a humble champion, and what you've done in your sport is incredible, but just the person you are is actually even more amazing to me. So you're a great LifeChanger ambassador. I've really enjoyed getting to know you over the last few years, and hey, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much. And can I please borrow some of those books behind you at some stage?
I might send you one. I might send one through. But hey, do you have a favourite book? Now that you've opened that up, do you have a favourite book?
I just love to read about people's stories. I think people's journeys and stories. So the whole time been looking at them, like I'm so tempted just to you need to let me borrow some. So I'd be happy. Just about people. I think that's probably my favourite kind of topic. Yeah.
Next time you're down in Melbourne, you can take your pick. And I reckon there's a Courtney Hancock bio coming out in the next couple of years as well.
Oh no, we'll see.
Hey, you take care and stay safe. And thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Scotty.
Please remember, if you're ever in need of support, reach out to Lifeline or Beyond Blue. For more insight sessions, you can find us on all of the social platforms or at lifechanger.org.au. Thanks for joining us, and here's to a life well lived.
I don't think I'll ever